Of all the pieces of gear in our gym, there's a few that, in my opinion, turn out to be a little bit more important than others. They're the things that you come into contact with every time you work out, or almost every time. Your dumbbells, your barbell, and your bench. When I pick those things out, those are the things that I put a little bit more time and care and effort into picking out. Those are the things that got a little bit extra in the budget. And those are the things that I think that when you're building your home gym, are the things that you should consider a little bit more carefully. And today, we're going to look at one of those, your bench. Hey everybody, I'm Tim with GymCrafter.com, where we try and give you everything you need to know to build a home gym that you'll love. And today we're talking about benches, specifically the bench that I've been using for the last 18 months, the Rep Fitness AB3000. Now, I ended up with the AB3000 because I knew that it was time for me to get a big boy bench. I had been working out on a different bench for a while. It was one that I had bought because it folded flat to go under a bed in my apartment. And when I moved into a house with a garage and I built a gym in the garage, one of the things that I knew I wanted to upgrade was my bench. And so I did a little bit of research and I started looking around. And what I was looking for is I knew that I wanted a bench that was what was called an FID bench, a flat, incline, and decline bench. I knew I wanted something that was sturdy. I knew I wanted something with a good amount of weight capacity to it. I knew I wanted something with a nice thick back pad and a back that was long enough to support me. I'm 6'6", so I needed something that was going to support my size and weight. So after doing a lot of research and trying to determine what kind of a budget I wanted to come in at, I landed on the Rep AB3000. Now Rep, if you don't know, one of their strong points is benches. In my opinion, if you're going to buy a bench of any kind, whether it's flat, an FID bench, a straight flat incline bench, these guys are making some of the best benches out there, especially considering the price points. So I landed on the AB3000, and like I mentioned, I've had it for about 18 months. So let's take a look and see how it lasted, what I liked about it, what I thought should be different, because there are some things that I wish they would change on it. And the big question is, would I buy it again? And am I going to keep it or am I going to replace it? And I'll answer all that for you here in this video today. Here it is, the Rep Fitness AB3000. So the first question I want to answer about having this bench for 18 months is, how did it hold up? And I would tell you that durability-wise, if you bought this bench, you could use it for your entire lifetime of training. It's really not going to wear out. There's a couple of things on here that maybe didn't hold up over time like I wish they would, but they're little nitpicks, but I want to show you what they are. Around the seat, there's this trim, and the trim kind of comes off. It came loose. Now, a little bit of Gorilla Glue fixes that right up, but in my opinion, when you spend this much money on a bench, and this isn't that expensive, all things considered, but when you spend money on a nice piece of equipment, you kind of expect things not to come off of it. So I really wish that they either didn't have this trim on here or that it was attached more securely. Again, not a huge deal, but that is one thing that over 18 months didn't last. The other thing that I wish was a little bit different are these guys right here. These are the little plugs, little rubber plugs that go into the end of one of the feet here. And every time I walked past this and kicked it with my shoe, it came off. It's one of those annoying things. And then the longer I've had the bench, the easier they come off. And now half the time these things are off. Again, I think a little bit of Gorilla Glue probably would hold these on. So not a big deal. Doesn't affect how the bench works. But of all of the things that are on the bench, those two cosmetic things didn't necessarily stand up to 18 months use like I wish they would. But everything else, the quality of the padding, the firmness of the padding, the material that covers the back and the seat, basically brand new. And I train 5 days a week, 6 days a week sometimes, and I use the bench at least 4 of those days. So over 18 months, this has got a lot of use. It's definitely held up really, really well. I've had some other benches that I can't say that about. Now I do wipe my bench down after every use. I do take good care of my stuff. So there's no sweat or oils or anything like that are left over on the bench once I'm done training. And I know that will make a difference in how long things last for you. But overall, I've got nothing but stellar things to say about how this bench could last for you. This really, like I said, this could be, the first, last, and only bench you need to buy if you decide that this is the right bench for you. So longevity-wise, thumbs up on that. Let's talk about some of the things that I really like about the bench. I mentioned in the intro that I'm 6'6". So for me, having a back that fully supports me from my butt to my head when I'm benching is important. You can see a lot of benches out there that are called no gap benches that don't have a gap between the seat and the back, and that's so that you can lay down, anywhere on it without having to worry about it. Well, for me, if the back is long enough, and this one definitely is, I don't need to worry about this gap. I never sit on the gap. I'm never, laying over it or on it in any way because the back is long enough. So that's one thing I really, really like. I also like the way the back is shaped. The top is tapered a little bit, which I enjoy because I do use this for like some chest supported rows and some things like that. And the little bit narrower top end of the bench really helps with that. So I really like the way the back is shaped, the length of it, the thickness of the padding is excellent, the density of the padding is excellent. I really love this. As far as the shape of the pads, I also love the shape of the seat. A lot of benches you'll see have a narrower seat, which that has its reasons, and one of my favorite benches does have a narrower seat, but this bench has a little wider seat, and I actually kind of like that. I do a lot of things sitting down, and having a wider seat to sit on at the end is nice, especially when you're doing like when you've got the back all the way upright and you're doing some pressing motions or things like that. This wider seat comes in handy. Another thing that I really like is that it's a 3-post design. What you'll notice in a lot of benches, especially if you're looking for your benches on Amazon, is that you'll have 2 feet at the head and then 2 feet at the foot of the bench. And when you're benching, you really want to be able to get your feet under and in and really be able to get some leg drive into your presses. And if you have a bench that's got weird legs at the bottom, you can't do that. With the single post at the bottom, it allows you to actually get really good footing. And that also brings up one of the things that I wish was different about this bench, which is these pads down here. I know why they're there. They're there to hook your feet on when you've got the bench in a decline, when you're doing some decline ab work or some core work or some decline presses. They're there to hook your feet in. And for me, in 18 months, I've used those 0 times. And partially because I'm 6'6", my legs are kind of too big to even make those functional. But turns out I actually didn't end up using the decline in this at all. Originally when I bought this, I thought I wanted a decline bench. For me, the few times I do a decline, I'll just put a 45-pound plate under the end. For me, I wish those pads weren't there. Now I have been asked by quite a few people, do those pads get in the way when you're bracing for the leg drive in a bench press? And I would tell you, no, they don't. Overall, the 3-point design of the bench is exactly what you want in a bench. I wouldn't ever buy a bench that didn't have that design. One of the things I do like down here is that handle. And you saw me when I brought it in. It's got a couple of wheels at the head. It's got a handle at the base. And I do like the fact that it's got a little bit of weight to it. It's a really well-built bench. So it's nice to have the handle and the wheels. There's no way you're lugging this thing around if you don't have that. One of the things that I wish was different is you can't stand it up on end to store it. So I can't lift that handle up and just set it up on its end. You can with some other benches, and that's a nice feature of those other benches. I'm fortunate enough to where I don't need to do that. I'd like to do that sometimes, but I don't need to. But I know some of you out there are really tight on space and you need to get everything out of the way when you're not using it, and a bench that would store upright would be beneficial to you. So if you need that feature, this particular bench isn't the right solution for you. Another thing that I really like, you just saw me demonstrate, and that's the ladder style adjustment. This right here, I honestly don't know why anybody makes benches that adjust a different way. That's an easy adjustment. It's secure. It's fast. There's no messing around with pins or pegs or anything like that. I love the way that adjusts. And I would tell you that honestly, going forward, I would never have a bench that adjusts any other way. And in fact, something that I like about this bench is that the seat also adjusts, but it's a kind of pull pin adjustment. And as you can see, you never really know if those things are fully seated. They're always a little bit of a struggle. And that's something I wish was different. I wish that it had a ladder style adjustment on the seat, just like it did on the back. So as far as adjustability goes, it's very adjustable. It's got every adjustment that you would need, but the way that it adjusts, love the way the back adjusts, wish the way the seat adjusted just a little bit differently. The last thing that I'll point out is I just like the way that it looks. This is sharp. You know, Rep, one of the nice things about them is this is going to come in a few different colors. I almost always go for black when I have a choice, but the matte black powder coating with the chrome accents and then the badging on here with the Rep Fitness logos, this thing looks sharp. I mean, it looks like a premium bench. It is a premium bench. So I love the way this looks, and it's a nice addition to any home gym. So a couple of last points about this bench that over the time I've had it, I've come to kind of wish were a little bit different. Number one, I mentioned that the seat covering was very durable, looks nice. It is nice, but I wish it was grippier. You know, we talk about using leg drive and the 3-post design. One of the things you're trying to do is to drive your shoulders into the bench. And when the bench is a little bit slippery, I don't know if this is slippery, but it's not grippy, it makes it a little bit hard. So when I bench on this, what I do is I use this stuff. Now this is a cool little hack. So if you've got a bench at home that doesn't have great grip, I'm going to recommend you go on Amazon and spend a couple of dollars on this. This is rubber drawer liner. And when you put it over the seat, this is as grippy as you could possibly want your bench to be. So this is a quick little hack for you on any bench, including this one. So I use this all the time when I bench on this, and so that makes the material kind of a non-issue. Now, being a little bit slippery like this, it cleans up great. So it always looks fantastic, and then I just use this drawer liner when I want to bench. The last thing that I'll point out is, and this is only important if you don't have flooring in your gym. Now in here I've got nice rubber flooring, which I love. I think it's an important part of every gym. But the feet on this are bare metal. So again, on a rubber floor, not a big deal. But if you're working out on hardwood or you're working out on cement, something like that, this thing's going to move around. It's just, it doesn't have any rubber underneath it. So there's no grip to the ground. It's not gonna stay put. So I would definitely only recommend this to people who have rubber flooring in their gym. Overall, you know, as you can tell, I really like this bench. I'm really happy with the purchase, and honestly, if you're looking for a bench that is flat, incline, decline, well built, good weight capacity, gonna last you for a long time, you're not gonna need to replace it, I highly, highly, highly recommend the AB3000. Next question is if I was to start over again today and start from scratch, would I buy this bench? And the answer is no, I wouldn't. Rep makes a step-up bench from this called the AB5200, I believe. And I've actually already got that bench. It's behind the camera. And I'm going to do kind of a first impressions video of it for you. And then once I've had it for a while, I'll do a review on it. But it's a little bit of a step up. It's a little bit more money. It doesn't decline, but like I mentioned, I don't use the decline. So it doesn't have these little feet thing on here. It's a heavier duty bench. It's definitely beefier. It does stand up on its end for storage. The back pad is a little bit more suited for the type of training that I do. It's a lot grippier. So there's some things I like about that bench better than I like about this one. So if it's in the budget for you, stepping up to that AB5200 is probably a good move. But if you're looking for flat incline, decline, gonna last you forever, well built, and reasonably priced, this is the bench. There really isn't a better choice out there for you. So again, I'll put the links down below to Rep Fitness and where you can get this bench. Check it out. Like I said, it comes out in a couple different colors. But head on over there and check it out if you're in the market for a bench. This is a really good purchase for me. I'm happy that I bought it. Another cool thing, because it's lasted so well, when I sell it, I'll probably get most of my money back for it. So that's another nice benefit of buying nice gear to start with, is if you do decide to upgrade down the road, the resale value is really, really good. Hopefully you guys found that useful. Like I said, when I do reviews, I don't want to just get something and then do a review 3 days later. I don't think that's valuable to people. Like I said, all the specs are going to be linked below. I don't want to bore you in the video with going over how long it is or how much it weighs. I just really kind of want to give you the impressions of, what it's like to use a piece of gear for a long period of time and how it holds up, and would I buy it again? And those are the types of reviews you can expect here on GymCrafter. So if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. I appreciate that. If you want to see more reviews and things like this down the road, hit subscribe and you get notified when I post them. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I'm Tim with GymCrafter, and I'll see you next time.